Pockets of stress absolutely everywhere is evident. Any index that you look at in these surveys really can safely assume it's an all-time low. And don't forget these surveys go back to 1998, so you've got 22 years of history here. Nothing like this ever seen before. The decline is far steeper than during the global financial crisis. At the levels we've got at the moment for the Eurozone, the index is signaling a GDP rate of decline approaching about 7.5%. So this is really steep. I mean, during the global financial crisis, you had GDP declines of around the sort of 2-3% mark. So you double that. So this is everywhere. I mean, these PMI indices, they vary between 0 and 150 being the no change mark. In some sectors, such as hotels and restaurants, those obvious ones that are hit by this pandemic and the containment measures more than anywhere else, these indices were close to zero. As these whole sectors just effectively shut down, no business being done at all. But it's wider than that. It's right across the board. In that manufacturing index you cite there, the headline PMI at 33.6 for the Eurozone, that index is boosted by some of its subcomponents like inventories and supplies delivery times, which actually contributing very positive to that index. Strip out those other measures, look purely at the manufacturing output index, which measures factory production trends, and that in April was down to just 18.4 against that 11.7% reading in services. So even manufacturing is down on its knees at the moment. This is a record low in manufacturing as well.
Chris, inevitably there was going to be bad data on the back of what is an unprecedented demand shock here. Going forward, it seems to me what will be important is just how effective national and international support measures are, both to keep companies alive and to keep workers in jobs. How optimistic or otherwise are you about the EU leaders meeting today and the likelihood of further money to support workers and keep companies in business?
I can't say I'm optimistic. I think whatever measures are implemented, you've got a shock here that is going to be hard to completely remove from the system. In terms of the GDP collapse and the employment collapse, we're already seeing job losses at an unprecedented rate in this survey as companies, despite government policies and other measures to try and furlough workers and keep workers on the books, these measures aren't cutting the mustard. Their job losses are going ahead as companies are just looking that this is an entrenched downturn we've got now. Even if containment measures are eased, people just aren't going to be willing to step back into life in the same way that they were before, due to their own fears of catching the virus. So companies are realizing this isn't just a 1 quarter downturn we've got here. This is something that you've got to hunker down and try and get through for many months to come. So in that respect, government money, yes, is going to be hugely important in keeping businesses alive. Whole swathes of business are going to need public support to ride through this, and not just in terms of loans, but actual capital injections in many cases to keep these businesses afloat during this time. And in that same respect, to encourage them to keep on workers. I mean, huge costs being incurred while businesses just simply aren't doing business here. You've got the cost there, but you have not got the revenues for some time.